All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the fascinating psychology behind a group of people who do something that honestly kind of baffles the rest of society. They treat their birthdays exactly like any other normal day. For a lot of us, a birthday is this massive event. It takes weeks of planning, or maybe you're the type who absolutely dreads that agonizingly slow office birthday song while everyone just awkwardly stares at you. But for others, the day barely even registers. Throughout this explainer, we're going to dive deep into the stark difference between two very distinct psychological drivers behind this: healthy self-sufficiency and avoidance-based behavior. So, grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's decode the psychology of the quiet birthday.
So think about this for a second. Why do some people wake up on the birthday with absolutely zero desire for a party? No alarm, no butterflies in the stomach. Most of us instinctively count down the days, right? We drop little hints, we plan get-togethers, and we eagerly wait for all the fuss. But the folks we're talking about today, they just wake up and start their morning. It begs a really interesting psychological question. Why do some people feel absolutely nothing special about the day they were born?
Picture it. It's their birthday morning. No butterflies. They just walk into the kitchen, brew their normal cup of coffee, maybe throw some bread in the toaster. A few birthday messages pop up on their phone. They give a little smile and then they just scroll right past them. Now, psychologists point out something crucial here. What we're witnessing is actually neither indifference nor sadness. It's a deeply rooted psychological reality where the day is just a number on a calendar. It isn't a lack of feeling at all. It's just a completely different way of processing a milestone.
Okay, let's get into Section 1, Healthy Self-Sufficiency Explained.
Psychologists actually have a specific term for this peaceful state of mind. They call it internal validation. Basically, it means finding your worth from within. For these individuals, their sense of self simply doesn't depend on external celebrations. Who they are doesn't require a party to feel real. They don't rely on balloons or expensive cakes or a crowd clapping for them. To them, the actual date of their birth is genuinely arbitrary. They literally feel zero internal pressure to act differently just because the Earth completed another lap around the sun.
And you know, there's a whole bunch of perfectly healthy reasons why someone might adopt this low-key mindset. Sometimes it starts when they're young. If a child grows up in a home where birthdays were just kept super casual, they develop this learned, neutral relationship with the date. Then, of course, you have introversion. For an introvert, being the center of attention isn't joyful, it's actively exhausting. We also see this a lot with mindful living. When someone is really present, singling out just one specific day feels kind of weird, because to them, every day is meaningful. And finally, research actually shows that high achievers often downplay birthdays because they measure their lives in the goals they've crushed, rather than just the simple passage of years.
For these folks, choosing to go on a solo hike, read a good book, or just have a quiet dinner at home is a profound demonstration of pure independence. It really all boils down to this. This is not loneliness, it's self-sufficiency. It's that incredibly powerful ability to make yourself feel good, to generate your own joy, without needing a room full of people to manufacture that feeling for you.
But there is another side to this coin. Let's move to Section 2, the avoidance behavior trap. Right, so on the flip side, we have avoidance behavior. Sometimes a quiet birthday isn't about peace at all. It's actually a retreat. It's an active, subconscious attempt to create emotional distance from something that's causing quiet discomfort. Mostly we're talking about the realities of aging or that harsh reminder of time slipping away. For these individuals, forcing a quiet, normal day just feels way easier and much safer than confronting those heavy existential realities.
So how does this happen? This avoidance usually stems from unprocessed pain. Let's say a person's birthdays were consistently ignored or maybe tied to severe disappointment when they were a kid. Well, their brain adapts. They quietly learn to just drop their expectations to zero. And by the time they hit adulthood, they built up what psychologists call a quiet shield. It's this invisible defense mechanism they carry around everywhere, and honestly, most of the time, they don't even realize they're holding it up.
Ultimately, this specific type of silence isn't true peace at all. It's a defensive strategy against feeling let down again. The logic behind this quiet shield is incredibly simple, but also deeply tragic. Not expecting anything means you can never be disappointed. It acts like an emotional insurance policy against the pain of feeling forgotten or undervalued by the people around them.
Which brings us to Section 3, spotting the hidden difference.
So how do we actually tell these two very different mindsets apart in real life? Notice the stark contrast in behaviors here. Someone with healthy neutrality, they are totally relaxed when the topic of birthdays comes up. They might celebrate quietly on their own terms, like catching a movie. But unprocessed pain looks entirely different.
If someone gets physically tense, seems quietly sad, or just rapidly changes the subject, that is a massive telltale sign of avoidance. You'll often see these folks completely hiding their birth date on social media. And it's not because they're embarrassed by their age, they're actively dodging what feels to them like performative, empty messages that just trigger their internal discomfort.
Now, psychologists warn us about a major red flag we need to watch out for. It's when that supposed independence curdles into resentment. If someone is dismissing or actively judging other people for enjoying their own birthdays, that judgment is highly revealing. Expecting loved ones to just magically read their mind and know they want a low-key day, while simultaneously getting annoyed by well-meaning gestures, that shows they are harboring unresolved emotional feelings, cleverly disguised as a need for independence.
True self-sufficiency can really be summed up by this simple, brilliant idea. Healthy neutrality is this: I don't need the day, but I don't resent those who do. Both are okay. You can be perfectly fine stepping out of the spotlight while still enthusiastically allowing others to shine in it. That right there is the ultimate sign that a quiet birthday comes from a place of secure peace rather than defensive protection.
Let's wrap things up with Section 4, growing versus hiding.
Underneath the surface, away from the party hats and the noise, what do genuinely self-sufficient people actually feel? Well, they report feeling fine, wonderfully ordinary actually. But there's also often this beautiful, private gratitude. It's a small, quiet warmth in the day, a brief, personal nod where they just think, yes, I made it another year. It's a deep, resonating gratitude that is perfectly complete all on its own. It literally doesn't require an audience to make it real. So if you love someone with this mindset, the absolute most supportive thing you can do is just listen to them. Ask them directly what they actually want, and then respect that answer. Crucially, though, do not automatically assume their silence means they want to be entirely ignored. Remember, low-key does not mean invisible. Often, just quietly noticing the day, a simple acknowledgement without the grand fanfare, can make an unbothered person feel profoundly seen. And that can absolutely mean the world to them.
I want to leave you with a final provocative thought to chew on, especially if you happen to be someone who treats your own birthday like just another Tuesday. Ask yourself honestly, is your silence rooted in true peace, or is it a mechanism of protection? Both are completely valid human starting points given everything we've explored today. But remember the psychology here. One pathway keeps you growing into your self-sufficiency, and the other, it just keeps you hiding behind a shield. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring the fascinating why behind everything we do.